Good morning, everyone. Can you believe that it's Thursday already? Just seems like yesterday we were doing the Moonology Monday readings. I know I say that a lot, but let me tell you something. When you get into your 40s, you start to notice the passage of time seems to happen a little faster. Seems like just yesterday it was January 1st. We were starting the brand new year. And now look at us. We're already in April. And of course, there's the old adage, April showers bring May flowers, and we have had our share of them here this week. I know it's going to sound funny from a guy who's light sensitive, but I really would like some sunlight in these windows, you know what I'm saying? That way I don't have to turn that lamp on all the time. That'd be great. Alright, so I might have mentioned this before, but if not, I'm going to say it just one more time. I promise you I'll remember this. The promotion for Heathen Soul Lore Foundations, the book by Winifred, Hodge, is over. However, the link is still in the description below. You can still go pick up a copy. And, you know, don't break your bank. Purchase it for yourself or someone else. Let's see, what else we got going on? Oh yes, my link tree is in the description below, so we're going back to it. Just how do you get a private reading? It's very simple. You throw me something in the link tree, you'll find two things. You'll find my drive-thru RPG wish list, you'll find my Amazon wish list. You throw me something off of one of those. Keep it 35 and under though, folks. Don't break your bank. $35 and under, you get 2 readings, 2 questions to be redeemed at any time, and you get a birthday reading. Birthday readings are big. These will be private links sent to your email, and you can view them at any time. And I think you can even download the videos for yourself. So just something to consider. If you want a private reading or you want to give one to someone else for their birthday or whatever, you know. If you throw me something, let me know. That way I know who to give that reading to. Anyway, we're back to normal. Speaking of normal, that's what I'm doing today. One of the normal readings that I started with. I call it Traditional Thursday because, well, this is how I got started. It's tradition. Sometimes I'll even change it up a little bit. Sometimes. If I'm feeling a little froggy, I'll jump. And we'll just do it to it. There we go. Oops, you know what? I need to move these over. As a matter of fact, I did a private reading last night. And you know what? I'm thinking about doing it this way, where if you throw me something for $45, I do those readings live over Telegram. How's that sound? Sound good? Speaking of Telegram, you can find me and the rest of the tribe at the Tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans also in the link tree below. And I've got a few other links I'm probably going to add to that link tree just for you. You know, stuff that might be cool, stuff for you to kind of check out and explore. Who knows, I might even link my Gilded server in there. That way if you're just curious and you want to see what an RPG session looks like when I begin them, you can come in, sit in, and watch. So for today's decks, I've chosen Wild Unknown Tarot and Sacred Revels because I've kind of had the feeling we needed a little dose of the truth. The hard-hitting facts, if you will. And as you know, we have Runes of the Gods, Viking Oracle, and Spirit Animal Oracle. I always use those. I love those decks. They are among some of my absolute favorites, and that's why they're usually always here for a full reading. No, this isn't a full reading. This is just a little general one. One that can be applied to anyone in any situation. Might resonate more with some than others. Let's see who we got today. Even for a rainy day, we still have Sol, who bears the sun. Sister to money. And I love her. No, I love her. It's because she is very awesome at just kind of lighting up everything around her. I'm always fond of telling many of you to shine on, but when it comes to beings that actually do, Sol is, of course, one of them. There we go. So here it is. This is why I love her, because when she tells the truth, she tells the truth. And right now, she's telling us we can't be distracted by gossip or mockery. Those are lower forms of communication, so we need to surround ourselves with positive people. Right now, one of the chief complaints I hear in the RPG space is that it's become toxic. And I'll tell you this much, I've actually seen this, and oh my goodness, it's as dumb as it sounds, but I'll share this. Someone actually got a little nervous over the term dungeon master or game master. Why? The term master. When I saw this post on Twitter, I learned something, I took it in, and I said, I should just go with this. I blocked them. Because there are so many ways that I can mock and ridicule that statement, or even that person, but I'm not going to. I hadn't had my tea yet. I had just barely woken up. That's not a good sign. And the last time I blurted out something over Twitter, before I had my tea and was able to fully wake up, I came up with a dungeon that was inspired by the Jackass movies. There'd be no monsters, just a whole bunch of like really stupid dangerous traps. Stuff that would send characters flying all over the place, flying into walls, you know, having to swim through things they normally wouldn't. See, if I haven't had my tea, you know it's a bad idea. So I block that. I personally don't need that negativity. I don't care for it. I don't want it. And quite frankly, I've gotten distracted by enough of it. So my advice to those in that space, and you can use this as an example in your own life, stop worrying about that. Focus on your creative endeavor, whatever that is. Leave the rest alone. If you produce something of quality, whatever it is they produce will fall by the wayside. It won't make anything. Nobody will back them. Getting me so far? Okay. Very good. But Saul also tells us something else. That our sense of personal power will increase. We need to be confident that our situation will now improve quickly. So we should shun procrastination. Procrastination does not help us at this point. The more we do, the better we become. You want to get better at painting miniatures? Paint more miniatures. For your guide, you have Thor. Thor on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. The private reading I did last night, I did before midnight. It was still Wednesday, and Odin appeared. Now we've got Thor. Now think of how powerful that is, because Thor is here to bust you out of a rut. We have our situation about to improve very quickly. We're about to get out of this rut. If we can only get away from the mockery or the gossip or the ridicule and stuff like that, those lower forms of communication, we can get up out of that, we're going to be just fine. We're going to be doing all right. Spirit animal. We have this lizard here, which we've never seen the lizard before that I'm aware of. But it says dream the world into being. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I love those RPGs I keep talking about ad nauseum, beating that dead horse into jello or glue or whatever, is because they allow everyone to dream. A world that you dream up can be something that you produce that others will take part in later. Now, it depends on what that dream is and if it's any damn good or not. So, what world would you like to see? If you've got that locked in, my advice, start building it. Going with your tarot, we've got King of Wands or Father of Wands, the Emperor, and a Wheel of Fortune. Here we go. Good news on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the King of Wands or Father of Wands, this is very creative energy here. And this is mastery, yes, I'm going to use that term, over what it is you create. This is that total control of it. You know how to direct those energies. You know how to make them your own. And when you do that, you can watch it. But this particular king is a man of mystique and charisma. Others are drawn to him. He usually welcomes them with open and loving heart. Usually you'll find him involved in healing arts. As he's deeply compassionate and in tune with life and nature, he's able to hold steady and still during conflict. Notice that he's able to hold steady and still during conflict. Yes, he's fanned those, he's got those little fans out, those little wings there. That's a warning. Get back. But you notice he won't engage until engaged. What's up, Bubba? I got Bubba on the couch with me. He was a little feisty last night, and I don't know why. He seems to have calmed himself. Seems to have. Spent a lot of last night attacking Daddy. Anyway. Moving on to the Emperor. The Emperor is all about that authority. It's all about your authority. This reminds me of the Captain America quote, where he says, what you do is no matter what the press says, no matter what politicians or famous people say, no matter what anyone else says, when you know it is wrong and you are being told to move, you plant yourself and deeply root yourself like a tree next to the river of truth, and you say, no, you move. You're going to have to take a stand. This doesn't mean that you have to openly mock and ridicule anybody else. It just means you have to produce what you know. You have to bring out that value. You have to bring out that truth. You have to make sure it is rock solid and can be heavily relied upon to be that way, no matter what anyone else says, and insist that no one else move you. You make that stand, and when someone else tells you to move, you say no. Bugger off. You don't like it, you don't have to be here. Now, when you do that, because if you look, these two cards are all about being upright and very solid, very reliable, but compassionate. right? Creative. Moving into sort of that, how can I put it? Maybe even someone who heals, right? Rather than destroys. Also very charismatic. So being in tune with nature and life, being a creator, not a destroyer, having that authority, literally rooted in it, not moving, especially when you know what you're talking about. Because as bad as things are or have been, that's about to change. That's what the Wheel of Fortune represents. It's a change in our luck for the better. Remember, we're kind of pointing at Saul over here, and Saul's let us know things are about to change for the better, but you have a part to play in that. Let's go to the Sacred Rebels Oracle and have a look, see what we're going to be like. Okay, so we got faith in the process. We've got Pandora's gift, and every journey starts with a single step. That much is very true. I really don't have to explain this one, but I'm going to try, because this is so obvious. That Wheel of Fortune, the change in your fortune, things have been bad for you now, they're about to change. But you really have to also trust that there's a process. That process is always ongoing. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you about my days at work. There are days I'm working in the drive-thru, and I see this a lot. Actually, I'll tell you an early days story about where I work. This is before I worked in the pharmacy. I was actually working in the front store, and I'm not even kidding you. There was a guy that came up. He was taking these Herculean efforts not to have a cart for some reason, and armful of stuff, phone to his ear, and he carefully laid it all on the counter as best he could, and switched ears with his phone. He took his card out and he's swiping and swiping and swiping and swiping and swiping. Nothing is happening. Everyone's staring at him. He finally says, "Oh, hold on." And he takes the phone away from his ear. He looks at me and goes, "How much is all this?" And I'm like, if it's okay with you, I'll go ahead and ring it up first. Really got to think about this scene. It happened. I can't make it up. When you have something, we are very conditioned to this Amazon Prime instant gratification culture. Ladies and gentlemen, the world does not work that way. You gotta give things a minute, okay? You gotta have a little bit of that patience. Have that patience, have that faith in the process. You are going to be able to do so much. Everything else will be taken care of on its own. You can put the coin in the little ride, but the ride isn't just over immediately. It's going to do the little rocking motions and things like that. The machines are going to work on a little timer, and then when it's over, it's over. Get what I'm saying? Pandora's gift. When Pandora was given her box, she opened it, despite all warnings not to do so. And it unleashed the world's troubles. And then when she realized what she had done, she closed it. And there was one thing left. She wouldn't open that box not for love nor money. And let me tell you, the one thing she could have given us, one thing that absolutely exists these days, whether you want to believe it or not, the one thing you're keeping shut in that box is hope. And Pandora's name means all gifted. So, what's going on right now is you've got a real sacred rebellion happening within your soul as a powerful uprising towards liberation. This is your process, breaking free from the weighty criticisms of the world. What else did we talk about? From the power games that bore you senseless, from the insanity of sacrilegious priorities in the world. Dare to disobey anything and everything that is not divine, because Pandora is leading that rebellion for you. And finally, every journey begins with a single step. How consciously aware are you of this? Now what I want you to do, just to illustrate this better than I can do with words, the next time you go to the mailbox, I want you to stop right there at your door. I want you to look at the mailbox, note how far it is, and then count how many paces it is. Literally only count every time the left foot hits the ground. That's a full pace right there. Count them on the way back. And realize you couldn't have gotten there without taking each and every individual step you took. If you want to count steps, that's perfectly fine by me. When I go to work, I know it's 2 blocks. I know it takes about maybe 15 minutes for me to get there. If it's a straight shot and I'm kind of just, dawdling about, maybe 20. I can usually listen to about a couple songs before I get there, depending on length. But it all takes that first step out of the door. Can't do it any other way. Finally, we've got Manas, got Fehu, and we've got Hagalars again. Now, I can tell you this much, Pandora's gift serves as a warning. And that's what Hagalars is. Hagalars is giving us plenty of warnings. Hagalars also indicates change, as Wheel of Fortune and Saul have indicated. I know I kind of started at the end here, but there's a reason for it. Manas. Manas is about our humanity and insight. And we need to be keenly aware of it. Sometimes we're just going through the motions, aren't we? But not today. Not today. We need to have a little more of a focused and concentrated effort toward our goals. Also, Fehu. Fehu's been popping up a lot. It's all about wealth, abundance, fertility. How fertile are those little seeds you're planting in your head? There's the real question. What are you thinking? Because they will take root. They will grow. And they will absolutely dominate your life. If you're thinking the right things, if you're letting those take root, remaining calm in the face of every challenge coming your way, well, guess what? You go from that right into that reversal of fortune. If it's been terrible, it's about to change. About to change for the better. And then we come to change. We come to a little disruption. That apple cart's about to get upset, ladies and gentlemen, but it's fine. It's okay. Just because the apple cart got overturned doesn't mean that you lost every apple in it. So, dreaming your world into being is one thing, but you have to have a plan. You have to have a process. You have to trust that process. You have to have faith in that process. You can really only do so much in this instance, and the rest has to be just taken care of. It will grow over time. You can always plant the seed. You can water it. You can fertilize it, but be careful not to overdo it. Otherwise, what you planted won't grow. Do what you can, walk away, and let the rest take care of itself. That's really the entire thing. You want out of your rut, you're going to have to change the way you think. You're going to have to plant those seeds in your mind and let them grow. Feed them when you can. Take care of them when you can. And don't get distracted. And that's really all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope to see you tomorrow for the big reading. And it's going to be big. Take care of yourselves and each other. Do what lights you up at every opportunity. And as always, my friends, family, tribe, neighbors, shine on. Oh, hello. Yeah, I just cleaned up. I wanted to, kind of glad you came back for this, because I did want to point something out. Remember the story about the guy at the counter I told you? I'll tell you something else I see almost every day. When you work a drive-thru, you see this a lot. People drive up, arm hanging out of the car with their card in hand, and they're waving this thing around. Okay. Understand, I am not mocking or ridiculing anyone. I'm just saying that's not a very good idea. And let me tell you why. It's because I've seen this before. In my many travels on YouTube and many other video platforms that existed, and were probably better back in the day, there was one such video I saw of a car that had parked. We'll say this is the drive-thru. Car parked here. It's a fast food joint, and the food is being transferred through this. Suddenly, the whole video slows down into slow motion, and this guy comes bursting out of the bushes, and he's running and running and running, and all you hear is the theme Chariots of Fire being played. He runs right in between them, snatches the bag of food, and keeps going. So, if you're one of those types of people, let me give you just a fair word of advice. Keep your card in the car, because there's a drawer. Now, nobody's going to snatch your prescription and keep going, but if you're going to hang out of your car like that, yeah, someone's going to snatch your card and keep going. So it's just something to keep in mind. One of those things I wanted to point out. Now, the video itself was pretty funny, but I guarantee you it wasn't funny to the people that experienced that moment. I kind of wonder how the people who filmed that video faced no consequences. Don't you? But yeah, that happened. Guy just burst out of the bushes, took off in a dead sprint, snatched that bag of food, and hauled hog. That was it, man. He was gone. Trust that it's a process, ladies and gentlemen. Patience. Have a little. It will go a long, long way. I'll see you on high notes. Because this is the deck I'm using there today. Come join me, won't you? Alright, see you then.